Welcome to POG Talk. We're joined by our friend Chris.
All right, so today we're talking about mental health, how all of us have been through mental health, and we've all had issues that have happened over our military career
Yes.
to push us towards the ledge, let's put it that way. The difference is instead of jumping off the ledge, aka suicide, we turned around
Yeah.
and looked
Can we
and we're
say
like,
that?
do we really want to jump?
Can we say that?
Welcome to the POG Talk Podcast with Steve and Bobby.
Well, the thing is I wouldn't jump. I'm more of the razor slide kind of guy.
Okay, so you okay, that's fair.
You know,
I thought you were the toaster in the tub guy.
no, that's the Army swim team.
Chris, would you walk us through when you realized you're like, shit, I have a fucking problem. I need to get help. Besides, when you kind of realized this, you started talking to us a lot more. We've had other friends that have not gone and gotten mental health, either medication or counseling, and they are still on that path of destruction. It's just a matter of when they either hit something or explode and cause complete chaos. But if you're willing to talk about it, that'd be great.
Well, the thing with me is I knew I had trauma. I had issues before I even went in the military, from from
Okay.
family stuff. I don't know about you two, but I brought it up before. But my childhood and stuff was far from perfect. Foster care and stuff like that. But when I got in the military, and of course I deployed, it got even worse. But I always thought I could handle it. Like MRT, whatever training we were doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to make.
we all
I
thought
used,
it was a big joke,
well,
by the way.
it is. It truly is.
If taught properly, it actually is a great tool.
I mean, if you, but they only did it
But
once. Once they did it 3 times a year. They're supposed to do it like every
yeah,
month.
Well,
And
they're
that, and I
supposed to.
think you need the right instructor. That's the
We
other thing.
so Ricardo
me and
would be the best one to do it.
Ricardo would not be the best.
no. No.
He would be telling everybody, all right, don't go this way, go
Like,
this
go
way.
this way.
That's
Here's the knot you want.
Not put it off to the
this way works
side.
too.
Now make sure you
Don't
blame
go
it.
here. Make sure you go in the mouth.
But
That would
anyway,
be Ricardo's MRT
Yes.
class.
But anyways, I
Yes.
think if they would have done that like they're supposed to, like the military was supposed to do it, it would have been a lot more helpful than just, oh yeah, here's our topic for today. Okay.
So me and Bobby talked about this, and my whole problem was always the instructors we have were always the E6s or E7s that could barely fucking read and got assigned it.
Well, that's the problem. It was
Or
it
the
was
E5 who was like, oh fuck, this is my first thing, and now I'm gonna try and read this thing, and it just turned into another death by fucking PowerPoint.
well, if they
which
could
it
read,
shouldn't have
they
been.
wouldn't be combat arms if they could read. So,
I mean, that's fair.
but
Dude,
anyways, that's what I was saying.
I wasn't combat arms,
Um,
and none of my guys could
and
read.
some of the stuff I did overseas, it wasn't like it wasn't like I was a Billy Badass or a Rambo, but like I was shot at coming home on leave. This is what really got me. Is I was coming home on leave. They had us on the back of this soft top. I think it was a 5-ton or a deuce and a half or something. And of course it's not armored. And we started getting shot at. Just and you can't see it. All you do is hear it. You have no weapon. That was the one that scared the crap out of me. Because like when I got RPG was shot at me, I saw it. I was like, oh, that sucks. And
You're pretty much completely helpless, no weapon.
yeah, that was the whole
You're
thing.
just like,
but I could,
shit.
I saw it. It wasn't like I'm sitting blind getting shot at, And then, I got mortared and I don't remember what base it was, but it was the palace, like his palace in Missoula, whatever base that was. I'd go there for ComSec every once in a while. Yeah, there was a cemetery on the outside of it they used to mortar us from, but I can't remember the name of the base. Beautiful palace though, or whatever you want to call it. It was gorgeous. Had a nice big pool, and nothing beats swimming in Saddam's swimming pool.
I think peeing in Saddam's swimming pool beats that.
We're not Somalis. No, I might be getting a fourth dick award.
You're
So
already getting a life.
it wasn't So
It's
through my
fine.
deployments, it wasn't really stuff that I couldn't deal with, right? Mentally. Well, at least I thought. But what I realized was as I'm getting older, it's getting harder to keep that cap on. You know what I mean? Like you keep it locked in and you just keep pushing, keep pushing. And as I got older, it got harder and harder. And then finally it just, and that's when I was like, I kind of spiraled, I guess you could say, and ended up going and getting help with the VA. I mean, I had to hit the wall before I admitted it. I had to actually hit the wall.
Well, that's basically.
But it was
all of us.
bad.
It's the
It was
same thing.
bad. It was around Christmas time. So like one minute I'm like, it was so weird because once the cap came off, it was just like a flood of emotions. You know, I couldn't control nothing. And it was like one minute I'm shaking, the next minute I'm crying, the next minute I want to throw my Christmas tree out the living room window, you know,
Right.
for no reason. It's just,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
just
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like talking to you. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, but it still happens, like loud noises. I don't do like when my kids screech a lot or something. I get kind of, you know, I didn't really try to avoid working segregation when I worked at the prison because of the noise, you know. Fireworks got me for quite a while, but I'm pretty much over that now. Some things have gotten a lot better over the years because obviously I'm not getting mortared anymore. So I think the explosions don't bother me. But they did when I first got home back in 06. I was at a fairgrounds down in Sheldon, Missouri. Don't look that for it on the map. You may not find it. It's like 200 people. They have a bar. They have a bar and a gas station. No, I'm not kidding. My dad gave me directions to his house, and I got off the interstate. I think it's Interstate 40 something now. But I got off. It was Highway 71 then. But I got off the highway. Look mid to the left. Go over the overpass. You know. Look, grabbed his directions because we didn't have smartphones back then. So I grabbed this piece of paper with my directions on it, and I'm reading it. And I looked down, I looked up, and I already passed through town.
Oops.
I had to turn around and go back. It was like the town itself was like 3 blocks. But anyways, so they have this their fair every year was the best. It was one of the best fairs I've ever been to. They have fireworks. It was just the bomb. But the fireworks started going off. And I'd been home 4 months, maybe 5. It has like my hands like sweated through my shorts. It's like, I got to get up. And I went up and went for a walk. And I ended up walking and just kept walking until I couldn't hear him anymore. But that was pretty bad. But I was also drinking a lot back then. Drank a lot more back then because I had a huge problem with alcohol. Right out of the gate. I mean, I drank in school. I mean, it's Wisconsin. Who doesn't drink in high school? But when I got active duty and I got back, I mean, I've told you guys this, but like, I'd get up at 5 a.m, start drinking whiskey, put whiskey in my chewing tobacco, go to PT, come back, drink a little more, go to work, come back at lunch, drink a little more, go back to work, come after work, go to the Class 6, which is the liquor store, and pick up another bottle, go back to my room, kill the open bottle that night, and start the next one.
Damn.
Yeah, I did that for a while.
That's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So,
But that was your coping mechanism. You used drinking as your coping mechanism at that time.
That and drugs. A lot of drugs.
that's a big coping mechanism for everybody, I think, in the military.
It is. It's military and non-military. I mean, people use drinking to because it's easy to get. There's people that are going to use harder drugs if they could get their hands on them.
Especially in the military, because like active duty military, dude, we'd have a party on Friday night and everybody that was there's door would be open. And you'd have beer in this room, rum in this room. You'd have whiskey down the hall and you just walk around.
It's kind of like a pub crawl.
Barracks, yes.
Yeah, yes. Barracks pub crawl.
And then the next morning would roll around and I'd be walking to the chow hall with my sunglasses on and all the girls would be jumping out the first floor windows before the sergeants come through for their checks. Because you had the CQ and they'd have to check in with CQ, so they would just climb in and out of the barracks windows.
Yeah, but barracks bunnies.
Well, they weren't. Well, most of them weren't, but a lot of them were. No, all of those dudes actually ended up getting married to him.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. But no, the hardest. But then the big thing was when I was at Lewis. I just got back and we were on a run. We used to do this run up. I think it was like Engineer Hill or whatever. It's a steep hill we'd run up. And my sergeant, I'd call him. I'm gonna use his name. I don't even know if he's still alive or not. But he's Sergeant. His name was Sergeant Foro. This dude was probably the smartest common guy I ever met, hands down. He could. Oh, you need a fill cable? I'll make you one. He was that kind of guy, you know?
He's one of those guys. Okay.
Yeah. But he knew everything. But there's also a time, we had the knitter, NTDR, to verify.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one, Bobby.
I
We
know
had,
what that is.
we had
Strictly
the,
because I had to turn one in.
yeah, we had the, Eplars, and we had, this is old compared to today's stuff, old school equipment, Yeah. But no, I ended up going to the VA. Now I'm on like a bunch of meds, and I talk about my feelings and
Well, let's
you
talk about that first time. Let's talk about that first time because
well before we get to the first time, did you go and talk to somebody while you were still in, or was this after you got out?
the only person I ever really talked to was when I was in. Well, I had one ex-girlfriend. She did a lot for me though. She helped me when I was in between tours, and when I got back, she really helped me mentally. She did. But it was mainly when I got out, pretty much. Well, because once I got out, that's the jolt they don't teach you. At least it was more so for the active side than it was when I was guard. Even though I only did 4 years, but you spend all this time, they pound this into your head what you got to do, and they pound this, do this, and then when it's over, they don't have a transition period, a transition unit, I guess they should call it, where you're still in, you have a job type. They should do something like that, where it's you can transit, because I mean, you guys know, going from cruising around Iraq in a Fox vehicle or a Striker or an Abram to driving a forklift at a warehouse is a tough pill to swallow.
There's a very big difference between those two, and going from the military to civilian side is a very, very large difference.
Especially when a lot of civilians, they want in your business. They want in everybody's business. They want to know everything.
Yep.
Or veterans like you, right? You're like, if you told me like, oh, I got divorced. Oh, that sucks, dude. Are you okay? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'd have a beer or whatever, and
that would be the end of it.
Shoot the shit about other things. It would be, that was a thing about that we talked about for the 30 seconds that it was
exactly. And if it wasn't really a big thing, you'd only say it once. If you said it a couple times, that's when it's like, okay, as a veteran, you're like, all right, this dude wants to talk about this, but he just needs to push.
When I worked at a previous job I worked at the prison. That was more mentally taxing than anything I did in the military, because of the stuff I saw there.
Okay.
Unbelievable, the stuff we saw there. But I mean, like, the suicides, we had the cutters, you have hangers. We had a guy, I wasn't there, thank goodness, but we actually had a guy try to hang himself with concertina wire. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you saw the jar of crap I showed you last time. I mean, it's the fights. I mean, you go running into a the alarm goes off, you go running into a pod or something, and you could have 5 inmates just wailing on a couple of CO. It is this because the constant stress of never knowing what you're going to run into. It's kind of a really
kind of like running into combat.
It is, but it's 16 hours a day every day for
right. It's your daily deal, and it's hard to then shut that off when you go home. Especially, you've had people follow you home from prison or follow you. So that's mentally that is wearing on you as well.
I've had ones that have gotten out, go by me in Walmart and be like, hey. I even had one that I found that I didn't have to open my eyes. I recognized his voice. He bugged me every day for like 5 years. This dude would complain to me.
Did it trigger you into like the fight or flight?
I've never had the fight or flight. I've always been, because part of the PTSD and stuff is you excel in chaos. So the crazier things got, the more calm I am. The only time that I really got like triggered, I guess you could call it, was I had a flashback one time when I walked down this unit. We had a team call, and I walked down onto the unit it was the old folks / DER unit. And
so us.
It makes us look like Harvard graduates, some of these people. Well, these are the ones that these are the people that are like legitimately like mentally not there, right? Like we had one guy whose best friend was a tennis ball with a smiley face on it. And he would talk.
Wilson!
Actually reminded me of bed bugs. That's what I'm gonna refer to him to. Bed bugs. Or white line. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
That we're not complete tards and we look like geniuses.
Wait, I walk on this
There we
unit. I walk on this unit.
Flashback.
And I don't know about if you guys, but have you guys ever smelled a dead body that's been sitting?
Yeah.
I get that tear and I was like, the smell hit me. And I was just like, boom. And I just froze. And it was weird. It never happened to me before. I just stood there. Of course, besides the usual stuff, like I used to get really bad with, like trash really gets me still. Dropping by, like, especially if it looks like those like free take me piles you see. They're nice and
like,
those really get, because that's the stuff you look like go driving through overpasses. I used to switch lanes going through under overpasses and stuff because I used to throw rocks and grenades and crap off the overpasses. Yeah, it was just small things that even today I still do because you train and train and train and train, and it just becomes part of your routine.
Okay.
Like I go to the VA, I take a certain way home. I never go back and forth the same way. I don't even go there the same way every time. I'll go this way, then I go that way. Then it's just paranoia, essentially. I'm very paranoid. Everybody's out to get me type of person,
I think that is ingrained in all of us, and it's not just you that does that. I know I do it.
Especially, I know Bobby does this, but let's say you walk into a McDonald's, right? You scan the room. First thing you do, scan the room. What do you look for? Exits. Right? What's the second thing you look? What's the second thing you look for? If I'm going to stay, I want a chair with my back against the wall.
Yep, where I can see the entrances and the exits.
Exactly, and then I'm standing there, and you do it so quickly. It's like
it's not conscious.
It's like sometimes when I catch myself, I chuckle. And then I don't know about you guys, but I start scanning every person. I start looking, like, oh, okay, that's a phone, that's a wall, because the bulginess and the clothes and stuff.
You look for threats.
Yeah, then I'm sitting like, okay, could I, if he's a threat, could I take him? If that's the threat, could I take him? And I'm not talking about taking them as in kicking their butts. I'm talking more like distracting them long enough, even if I get killed, so that my family can get out of there.
It's the exit plan for everybody that's with you.
Because I tell you what, if 20-year-old me knew there'd be a 43-year-old me, I would have done a lot better job taking care of myself at 20. 20-year-old me was a dick.
Yes, absolutely.
But the biggest thing that really on my first tour, because I had a hard time my first tour, and it was nothing like the combat and none of that type. Because I didn't do combat, right? I wasn't a whole lot. That wasn't our job. But I did do some of that stuff. Very little, but some.
So, okay, Chris. So we've gone through
what caused your mental health. Now walk us through when you actually went and got mental health help.
Let's go to your first visit to the VA and what.
Well, that was
caused you to go there.
That was a very long journey to get from there to the VA. It was probably before Syria, I want to say, or just it was when we found out we were deploying, and that when who couldn't go, I ended up taking his spot in Syria, and it was weird, and it was a really weird and this is what kind of really did it for me, because it was going back when I was going back to the Middle East, because a lot of the stuff started coming back, and I went. I don't remember the year, but my wife told me, okay, you need to go get some help. So,
well, if it was when we found out we were getting deployed, it was 2018.
Okay, no, but this is before that. It was sometime before that. I'm not sure if it was when I found out but it was that time frame.
2017.
Yeah, between 15 and 17, somewhere in there. And so I did, and then they didn't put me on meds at first. It was just like the therapy and going through all the different steps or whatever they call it, whatever it was. I don't, like I said, I don't remember. It was almost 10 years ago. And then it felt really dismissive. Like I had such a poor experience with the VA back then. It was like very like pretty much like they were calling me a liar and all this type of crap, you know. And it's hard to explain stuff to some 20-year-old kid. You know, granted, I'm at this point I was probably 30 something, but I'm talking to a 22-year-old. You know, it's like it'd be like talking to your kid about your deployment and expecting to feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I get that.
and there was no prescriptions, there was nothing. And they're like, okay. So I quit going because I was driving all the way to Madison. I wasn't getting reimbursed. And this is before
Really?
they started doing the reimbursements.
Oh, okay.
Remember, a lot happened in a couple years that
Yeah.
improved the VA.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
prior to that,
And it was
Shit.
rough. It was I
That's-
couldn't. It took me a year, I think, to get in for my back, or almost a year, just to get an X-ray or the, you know, you put you in the tube and whatever.
MRI.
Yeah, for my back. Yeah, that took like a year just to get that. Because I had to do physical therapy twice. I had to do all this other crap. And I'm like, dude, now I'm doing it. Now last year they finally, after 22 years, whatever it is, referred me to the pain clinic. So now,
Wow.
because that's another thing that really takes a toll on you mentally is when you wake up,
When everything hurts.
you wake up in pain, you go to work in pain. And it's not just, and it's hard to explain to people that when you go, I'm tired, and they go, well, take a nap. Like, I don't mean tired. I mean, like, I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually done. And then some people just don't get that. Like, it doesn't matter how much you sleep, it doesn't matter how much you rest or what, you know, it just, so to get through that, I quit going to the VA because of my horrible experience. And for my back, they were just pushing pain pills, which I wasn't even taking. And then I got accused of selling them. But no, I don't take them. I'm not a pain pill kind of guy. I'm not a pill popper. And that's because I have an addictive personality. So I knew if I started popping pain pills, it wasn't going to go well. And I knew that from all the booze I drank and the drugs. Like, okay, like I don't do things moderately. It's all or nothing. So I just avoid. And my mom struggled with the pill addiction, so I avoid them. Even today, I avoid pain pills. So I started doing other stuff back then. But it works. It works so well. Like they got that new one now. That's that psychedelic thing with the root they found in Africa that they're testing. You guys heard that Trump just signed? Yeah, I was reading on that. That stuff looks amazing. That stuff has an 80%.
The only place you could do that right now is down in Mexico.
No, they just opened
You
it
didn't
up.
know.
They're going to start doing testing in the U.S.
Great. But the
The
only
VA
place you
has-
can legitimately do it currently is
Yeah,
to go through
You can sign up, but you can
all the
sign up.
veteran organizations that will actually take you to Mexico. And
Yeah,
let
but you can.
do it.
The thing is, though, is you can sign up now and be part of the trial through the VA.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
want.
it's
So,
the same thing with smoking THC.
oh, you like Mary, don't you? Mary Jane Carson.
Hey, man, if it helps with the pain, I'm
Yeah,
all
no,
for it.
I get it.
She's
Oh.
a great listener, and she's a great consoler.
Also, she takes the pain away.
The
We
thing,
never do
well,
that
the big
here.
thing is like you've touched on it before. I think in one of your deals was that survey they give you when you get back.
Yeah.
I still have my original survey, the first one I ever did after I got back from Iraq. And I'm looking at it, I was like, man, this kid is dumb. Just flipping through it, you know?
Well, and were
And-
you 100% honest on this survey? That's the other
I
thing.
was.
A
At
lot
that
of
point, I
times.
was. I was naive enough that I was.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, when I came in, it was weird because you guys never got to meet me when I came in. I was very gun ho. I was really, let's get her done. I loved the military when I first
You
came in.
gave a fuck.
I did. I gave a lot because at
It
that
was
point,
not you when I met you.
Your fucks
At
given
that-
meter when you met us was kind of like it was
Well,
dwindling.
at that point,
It was
the-
down in
the-
empty.
well, I still had faith in leadership. I still believed in what we were doing. I had believed in the war. I believed, I drank all the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
And then after I went, especially after after I went for 2 tours, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's the same thing. We do the same. Only thing that changes is the name tape. Is you hop in a truck, you drive down Tampa, hope you don't get blown up. I mean, sorry, that's called route clearance. You two know that. That's pretty much what you do. Is you drive around and look for IEDs and hope you don't blow up. And
I don't know that. Bobby knows that.
oh,
I didn't get that fun experience.
but yeah, that's another that stress. The stress of anything you drive by could blow you up. That was big because you don't know, you know.
Well, yeah, and there's so much garbage that was in Iraq. It was just like everywhere. So you're like, yeah, that could be a bomb. That could be a bomb. Wherever you went.
It made it horrible trying to drive anywhere. But
Or
then
in
again,
Kuwait. It was the same shit in Kuwait. Kuwait was
Same
fucking
shit in
shithole
Kuwait.
until you got
my
to Kuwait
first
City.
my first tour, I don't know if you guys remember Camp Udari. It's now part of another base down here, but
Yeah.
at the time it was separate, and it was literally like a dozen tents, a couple porta potties, and a shooting range. That was Camp Udari. Yeah, and then they had a part of it you would go for your convoy live fire. So we got acclimated to the weather and all that type of crap, and you know the vans we just tear across the desert and there's no road and they're like racing each other. But when we went back with the 121, I'm like, they paved the road. There's a road here now. It took a lot of it didn't. I made it feel more like a Kuwait deployment until I actually got the country, and then I realized, oh crap, this is a lot like Iraq back in 03. And but the stressors, I wasn't stressed the first time, but let me get back to what I was saying about 19-year-old me though. I cared a lot. Like I was, and I wasn't a good soldier. I couldn't do my sit-ups were horrible. I struggled and struggled. My entire career was sit-ups, and it turned out that my back was just jacked up from the military. I don't know if it was the incident from when I fell out of a truck or if it was doing sit-ups on concrete, or my back got jacked up.
Yeah.
And I was too stubborn to go and get it fixed. So that was additional stress. And it's not just the combat it's not just the combat and the stress from doing that can get you. It's simply, I had a feeling of like that I wasn't good enough because I couldn't do, you know, the stuff other people did. But then after but I didn't get enough time. I feel like I didn't get enough time before, like, because of the deployment tempo, I didn't get the adequate time to truly work on it with like a sergeant or somebody that knew, hey, do this, or could show me what, because I don't work out. Like I said, I jiggle these days. And I jiggle a lot. If you look at that, you could tell when my knees and back really started going, because if you look at the pictures, I get big. I got bigger and bigger and that's more stress. And that's, oh my gosh, I got my Joes and all this stuff. And the one you met, by the time I got to you guys, I'd been crapped on by the military. My rectal cavity had been bored out by reenlistment contracts. So my sergeant Matt is what we called him. He kind of had that role, of, I guess you could say, dad, right? Because he was easily, I think, 10 years older than me, if not, maybe about 10 years. And I had a hard time because when I was on the retrans hill, I reported to him. That was it. It was me, him, and the other guy. That was it. I knew lane, I knew my tasks, and I did them. When we went down to Balad, we got transferred to Balad because a National Guard unit that was there, an MP unit, left a convoy during contact, and like a crap ton of the KBR convoy got like killed and burned up and all this stuff. So they had us come down to escort the convoys until they could find a replacement for the MP company. Because that was my understanding. Could be wrong. You know, it's been 20 years. And we slept in tents down in Balad. It's actually now where, you know where those metal rooms are you stay when you fly out of country?
Yeah.
That's where our tents were. That was my battalion area, motor pool and all that was that area. And that was one heck of a drive. That's when we hit an IED, not me, like, you know, way up, they hit an IED. But you know, when driving makes you start to, that you need a break. You know what I mean? So what Matt would do is we would talk. He drove. He was too big to fit in the passenger seat with the FACB2. He was just too big of a dude. I mean, he was a big dude. But that's a big thing too. Is he actually pulled me aside because when we were at Balad, that's when my grandfather passed away. Because we came off a mission. I know we're getting off. This is definitely mental health. I'm going to share this story. We came off a mission. Nothing happened. But I checked my email, and we just started getting email in the talk for like personal emails, instead of Zipper and stuff. So we could send out personal emails. So I decided to check my email, and my girlfriend dumped me that day via email.
Yeah,
So
sounds
then
about right.
it's like 2 a.m. It's late, and then I go back to and as I'm in there, and this dude comes in, he goes, "Hey, Top wants to see you." When first sergeant wants to see you at 2 a.m, that's never a
It's
good
not
thing.
good.
That's never
Not
good.
good.
So I go in there and I find out my grandfather passed away on the same day my girlfriend dumped me, and I lost it. I just started bawling. Like at that point, I was probably 21-ish, 22. Is I never really, I cried like when my grandma died or something, but I never. This was next tier, like, like, like it was
The fucking
crazy.
cat blew off the fucking soda
Oh
bottle.
yeah, it was. But I
Yeah.
didn't realize it until years later why it was everything that, because at that point, that was after I already been shot at going home on leave. I already been RPG'd. I already been mortared. So yeah.
At least the pressure vessel broke finally.
Right.
Yeah. And he asked me, the first sergeant Little. I'll never forget this. If he ever sees this, you're my favorite first sergeant that ever existed. I don't even know if he's still alive, but he was funny. But anyway, it's just, he asked me, like, "Are you good?" Because they were like, because I felt they were seriously going to take my weapon and my belt and my shoelaces. That's how bad I personally felt at that point.
Okay.
But they didn't. He goes, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I just want to go back to work. I can sit here and think about it for months, or I can just go back to work. I mean, I'm 6,000 miles away. What am I going to do? I can't go home for the funeral. I already went home on leave, so I can't go home for the funeral."
Yeah.
So I just went back to work.
It's
Right.
It's
You push
the
yourself into a project, basically. It's like what we do now. You
Yeah.
continue working just like you did in the military. It's always, you get up, you get dressed,
let me drive
you
on.
fucking go to work and do your shit,
My
repeat.
my
It's
th-
the
my
same
thing
thing.
my thing was, is I always said to myself, "I'll deal with it later." Years went by, and more stuff, and the stuff stacked. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it
Yeah.
later.
You kept filling
No.
that bottle again.
And then, yeah, like I said earlier, the lid just blew off, and I just went off. Now I'm on. But they help. I was,
Okay,
They help, but they don't
I-
fix anything.
but I didn't want.
That's the thing.
And the
But
big thing
let's-
was the stereotype when I was in, right? It was a career killer.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
what they don't say is it is. They're not going to tell you that,
No, it absolutely will kill you.
but it is.
Hi.
Because you're not fit for duty.
Yeah. Yep.
Hi.
Right here.
Yeah. Hi.
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 Yeah. Hi.
Because and I've said it once, I'll
I
say
got
it again,
med boarded for it.
both physically and mentally, I probably stayed in 10 years longer than I should have. I probably never should have won. I probably should have got out as an E4. I probably should have got kicked out. That's how, to be honest with you.
Yeah, realistically, like you said earlier, they need to do a better job after deployments about like just having that more of a mental health like reintegration.
Well,
it's not the after deployment before you get out. What I'm saying.
There's
For
that
the,
too.
For the guard, it would make sense for the integration when you get back from the, but for like, but active duties, like we got back, we had our hoorah, we went on leave, we came back, we went back to work. Oh wait, we had a run. They made us do this team bonding, like 15-mile run.
you guys did a fun run.
It was not.
Well,
No, none of the fun runs are ever fun.
Whoever came up with the idea that running in the military was fun.
It was a fucking officer. We all know
Sergeant
it.
Major.
And being in me, I'm always one of those
Running's
like,
fun.
I was always wondering, why would I do that? Like they said, "Oh, you gotta run. You gotta run." I'm like, dude, if I have to run from the enemy, I'm already dead.
No,
I'm
That means you
Camel.
ran out of ammo.
I'm Camel.
well, so we talked about this. We were an artillery unit. Not only were we an artillery unit, but we were in the headquarters battalion of it, or battery of it.
And that's the dumbest thing they did.
I ever have to run, I am fucked. Because everybody else got just
Dead.
destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right.
Well,
That
yeah,
was the bayonet. That was the bayonet episode.
is what they should, though, is what they need to have is they teach you the transition from wearing the uniform to not wearing the uniform. Because even though you're guard, it's different, because you get up, you put your uniform on, you go to drill, whatever. And then one day you don't. And then the hardest part for me, when I realized that none of it matters, none of this military crap matters, was just how easily replaceable we all are. You know what I mean? Like
that.
I mean, you think about all the late nights, and you think about all the time you took off of work and it doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
I mean, it's
Doesn't mean a
nothing.
damn thing.
It means
Nope.
absolutely nothing in the scheme of things. All it did was give some officer a Bronze Star. Look at my OER, and that one lady got an award for not even being there. So yeah, and then the military is this, and like, dude, if you're out of the military, I have the stickers on my truck, Army retired and all this crap,
You're proud of what you did while you were.
But it's not my identity. Where a lot of retired people, it seems like they can't let it go.
So
Certain sergeant majors that I've run into, they just, even though they're retired, it's like I saw photos online of a lot of these guys that we knew that got out or retired, and they're still going to the stupid balls.
Yeah.
Why?
No, they do.
Exactly
They
what you're
go to
talking
St.
about.
Barb.
It's so
They go to
bad.
St. Barb and all that shit. Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, I know.
I know who you're talking about.
It's their way of reconnecting. That's why they do that, because they miss it. But
what you
it's
need to do,
because there's a reason why there's an age limit. There's other factors. Your body just can't handle that, either physically, but also mentally. That's why they're like, guess what? And that's why the Guard, once you hit that 20 years, they're like, why should you stay in? And you had to have a review board, look at your file and be like, I don't know. And it was all sergeant majors that reviewed it. They're like, I don't know.
Can you imagine that they looked at the review board looked at us?
I don't have to imagine it. I had a review board look at mine.
Yeah, I've had it.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't. I don't even.
It took 3 months for them to go, no,
the
you're
only
done.
time I went to a board like that was when I failed. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you this. One of the deployments I volunteered for, I failed the psych eval because I was honest on the paperwork, So I had to go.
Right.
I had to go get a psych eval from full bird.
That's the thing.
And then after the psych eval,
it's just so you can move.
Yeah, and then I got removed. And then I got removed from the deployment because I was honest.
No, yeah. No, and that's the thing, is that whenever we fill out those surveys and everything, it's like, do I really put how I really feel? Or is there going to be a consequence to this? Because all those results, because even though it's supposed to be anonymous, or maybe it's not, depending on what it is, all that shit goes to the commander. And then the commander has to figure out if they're looking at the shit. They're like, who fucking wrote this? Be like, that looks like this person's handwriting. We might want to keep an eye on them. They might be fucked up. So yeah, there's being honest, and then there's lying to yourself. And when I got help, I was being honest to myself. This could be a problem. Let's just answer this truthfully here. And hey, it worked out. But it's hard, because that it is an end to your career. It really is. You're just fucking done. They're like, all right, you can't do this job. You're combat arms. You need to be able to do this fucking job and deploy at all, whenever. And once you can't do that, they're going to put you in a unit that is not as likely to deploy, and you can be easily replaced.
I'm trying to figure out how to explain this, but I was getting back to it. For me personally, it compounded from childhood trauma, like bullying as a kid, getting bullied as a kid, that type of stuff, right? That really getting beat up a lot. That happened to me a lot. But anyways, so all that stuff on top of it,
beat up.
I wasn't a fighter. I didn't. I was a really good kid. I was nothing like the bitter prick I am today. I was made this way.
You were formed. I was
by those events.
No, I get it.
And then it was the army, and then the after army, and then prison. So it all kind of, like I said. But I was the one that held it together with duct tape and bubble gum, like you said, until the lid popped off, or in this case, till the wheels came off.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that I couldn't admit it to myself, because I couldn't. I was like, oh, I got this. I've been through this before. I got this. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was like, I don't got this. And that's when I went back to the second time to the VA and got my pills. Because I didn't get
that was
the second time,
2 years ago?
About that, 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I got in there, and then it was a lot of therapy, a lot of meds, and I see my shrink like every month or so, and we adjust. Like I gotta get my meds adjusted again. I can kind of feel it. Like my hands get jittery, and
It takes a while to get the right dosage. Like
does.
it took
Well,
years.
I think with this
Yeah.
is that I've been taking it for a couple of years now, so I think that needs to get upped. My body's
Yeah,
It's
adjusted.
bump.
either time to up it or time to switch to a different medicine.
Yeah.
Right. And they can only
Yeah.
up it so many times, and then you have to switch.
And the biggest
Yeah.
thing was for me though was like if you read the side effects of these meds, the top 2 side effects are homicidal tendencies and suicide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
what?
The
Wait,
meds
this
we
is
all
gonna make it
depend on
worse.
to not do that.
And that's
Right.
and I told my daughter because she and I was like, no teenager should ever take
No.
psych meds
No.
because their brain can't deal with it. Because there's tendencies, I get urges in my brain. They're like, no, you can't stab that dude in the face with a fork. No, don't get out of your truck on University Avenue and punch a college student.
There's a reason why when you go to the VA, every time they ask you, do you feel like a need to hurt yourself today or somebody else? Every
Mhm.
time you go, because they know this
With
is a thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, I didn't know that. So here I am. I'm looking at a prison where 800 dudes are on psych meds. And what do you think they're doing? They're self-harming. They're hanging themselves.
Well,
And that's another thing I want to talk about is the over-medication.
Right.
yes.
The VA is really good at over medicating people.
I was
Yep.
at that point at first because they overdid it the very first, so it's kind of like,
Pissing yourself.
when you were a
shitting
zombie
yourself.
like 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
Tell you what, though, I kind of liked it because nobody bothered me. I couldn't do anything, but nobody bothered me.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I
that's what happened to
I'd sit at
Ricardo
the
when they
armory.
put him on meds, and that's why he'll never do it again, he said. He's like, I will never, ever take meds again, because he felt like he was too
He didn't
medicated.
have any emotions.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't have any emotions. But I'm like, just because it takes time to get the dosage right.
Well,
and
I didn't have
figure
any
shit out.
emotions before. That's why I took it.
No, you did. You had anger.
No, besides anger, hate, and general disgust.
Those are
Right.
emotions.
Yeah, I mean, did they put you on the med
Those
that
are
made you feel like
emotions.
you're gonna shit your pants every minute of the day? Because I was on that one for a while.
No.
I couldn't trust the fart. I couldn't trust anything. I just felt like I always had to be on the toilet.
That one was bad.
Well, see,
That one was bad.
my kidney issues make it like that all the time. So
Oh, he wouldn't know.
no, it's just it. I have so much crap, so many medications. I don't know if it's a side effect or just something else.
So I have a question for you boys. This one is very specific. In the Guard, we have SRP. We've all done it. We all have to do this stupid.
Is that where we
survey
we went to Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went up to Douglas to do all our med bullshit once a year. And they asked how much you drank, how you were feeling
Oh, you mean we
mentally.
fly through it as fast as possible so your
Where you
CEO won't yell
lied
at you when you get back on the bus?
90% of the time.
Are you having unprotected sex? How many sex partners?
Exactly.
They wanted to test me.
SRP.
They wanted to test me one time because I said I have a lot of unprotected sex. I'm like, dude, I'm married.
Well, and that's one of the questions. They're like, are
It
you
is one
married?
of the
Are
questions.
you in a
Are you mar-
monogamous
Are you
relationship?
married?
Are you in a monogamous relationship?
Right. So I put yes. It goes, yes. They go, well, I think you have a problem. No, dude, I don't. It's my wife. Me and my wife.
You're like,
We're
it's
good.
just
We're
one
good.
person. I swear to God.
So,
We're
all right.
good.
So my question. So we've all been to SRP. How many years did you guys lie on those things because you didn't want to deal with it?
Every single one except the first one because I was too young to know better.
Okay.
Every single one
did-
except the last one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was what I did.
That's what it was.
I did it the reverse. I did it what Bobby did. I lied on all of them up until the last one, and that was when I knew my career was over.
Right. You're like, shit, I'm being honest. I gotta go.
Yep, I'm done. Because, well, I mean, at that point, I was drinking a fuck ton. Because I was self-medicating. I hadn't done mental health yet.
Well, that's
And was doing all the, like, I legitimately was thinking about offing myself left and right. And I was mad all the fucking time and all that
yeah,
shit. And
nothing.
all of a sudden,
Nothing makes you realize you need help more than sitting in your vehicle with a pistol in your hand.
I was in the garage, but yes.
You get my point.
No, I
Or in a
completely
hotel.
understand. Or a hotel.
On state active duty orders.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
It's just like, fuck me. I hate this shit.
But so me and Bobby, I was talking to Bobby at the time, and that was when I got turned on to everything. It was actually the reason I did it, because me and Bobby were talking about it.
Well, you were
What
there when
made
I
That's
when
one of the
I
reasons.
finally
That's
asked
one of
for
the
help,
reasons.
Steven.
Well,
I
that's
know
one
I
of the
was.
reasons
you
why I
were
went
you were
back the
there.
second time was because you two went. You two went. I was like, you know what? I'll give it another shot. Because the first time I was adamant, but nah, I'm not never going back to the VA. That was horrible. But I was like,
Well,
I'll give it another shot. And I was actually
so
very
we
pleased.
got
Today is much, much better.
no. It's hands down better.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a
It,
while since I've heard about somebody setting themselves on fire at the VA in Madison. So that's always a perk.
I mean, okay, so there are still random ones. Like I think a couple of months ago, there was some dude down in San Antonio that shot himself outside the VA. My point is that the VA is for the most part gotten better.
It has.
They need more mental health.
Well, I'm talking.
I had this conversation with my vet center
Explain to
person.
me, because I don't know this. Explain to me
Okay,
what a vet center.
Bobby, go do the vet center thing because you've been doing it longer than I have.
All right. So the vet center is actually connected to the VA, but it's not they don't share information. So you can go there. It's all ran by veterans. That's why it's called the vet center. So everybody that has been in that they decided, hey, I want to continue contributing. Either they're still actively serving, because I've had one of my counselors was Army Reserves, and that was her whole thing, was just mental health. That was her department, period. So some of them are still serving, but most of them are out and they are the counselors. Right now, my counselor, I think she retired as a lieutenant colonel, something like that.
My counselor right now is a
But
lieutenant
she's a
colonel.
full-fledged doctor. But basically what they do is it's unlimited amount of visits. If you need to see somebody every single day, that's the vet center versus the VA, where they're like, all right, we can see you once a month or whatever, and they only give you so many appointments to figure your shit out, whereas the vet center is unlimited. And you don't have to just talk about military. I know that's what some people think. Well, if I'm going to go to this counseling, I can only no, it's anything. So they take their notes just like they would do at the VA. And the only way the VA can see those notes is if you authorize it. So whatever you tell your vet center counselor doesn't get pushed to the VA. There is where they do talk to the mental health doctors that prescribe all your medications. They do a once a week meeting with them and they go over all their patients, and it's just yes, continuing to either show progress or is getting worse, might want to adjust their meds, stuff like that. But they're not going to release details. That's only if you want to, you can do that. So every 3 months, I meet with my mental health doctor that does my meds, right? And it's a virtual visit. The vet center can be virtual or in person or over the phone, but they prefer virtual or in person because then you can see body reaction and stuff. Doing counseling over the phone is
Useless.
forget it, useless. But yeah, it is connected. It gets funding from the VA side, all that type of stuff, and there's
It
more and more vet
didn't.
centers opening up.
It didn't until just recently, right in the middle of GWAT.
Right. So
It became a federally funded thing
right.
and
And
started working with
there's
the VA.
more locations opening up because of that. So there is more counselors out there. And like I said, they all have military experience. So I had the Army Reserve chick, this current doctor was in the Army. The one I had before that was in the Navy. So it's just like all different people, Air Force. It's all the branches, and it's just all about so they can relate to you better to help you be able to talk about it. And they're not gonna be like, "Oh yeah, don't be a pussy. Can drink water and drive on." No, they're actually they have their training, their counseling, but they bring their military experience to the table so they can understand. So there's some like terms, and when I'm talking to my counselor, she's like, wait, what is that? Or she'll be like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Actually, I've been to that fort or whatever and shit like that. So it is kind of nice. And my counselor is actually from Wisconsin, which is kind of funny that she's down here in Florida as well.
Because Wisconsin's not fun during the winter.
Fuck no. She knows all about Fort McCoy. She's like, that place sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, tell you what, though, that place was like a small city during the peak of the deployment.
It was.
It was nuts up there.
Yep.
But
So
no, it's a great resource. Let's put it that way.
it is.
And
Okay.
all you have to do is just have your DD-214 and you can go there for free counseling.
Yep.
That's the big thing.
Yep.
You don't have to go and use other services. It's free, just like at the VA, as long as you can prove you're a veteran. I think that's the big thing. Is just people don't know that the vet center is another option where you can get more in-depth counseling and training on how to handle certain things too, because there is different coping mechanisms, stuff that they teach you on. So yeah.
But the biggest step with mental health, though, that was the hardest for me was the first step, was saying I need help.
Always the first step.
It's always the first step.
And the second, and then I started thinking, well, what's my family gonna think? You know, things like that, right? And surprisingly, they've all been very, very supportive.
Well, that's good
Well,
because there's people that don't have that support.
I've also opened up more about the trauma. Like most of it, I wouldn't even tell my wife a lot of crap that happened, you know, even at work. So talking about it a lot more, being more open about it helps a lot too. So even if I don't see a shrink, just talking about it with my wife is what helps. You know, just getting it, or even writing it. I even write it. I keep like a little journal. I write thought. Like if I'm angry, I'll just rant instead of yelling at somebody. I'll just rant in my notebook. You know, and it helps because I know if I actually start yelling and screaming, it's just gonna get.
Well, me and Steve
See this
know all
jiggling?
about it.
Yeah, it means no. Yeah, see, no.
Ricardo uses us as his therapy because he refuses to go to therapy.
But unless you've done that first step, everything after that doesn't matter.
Well,
like we've all gone to counseling.
He expected it to be fixed. Like, well, I went for 4 sessions. That was over a month. Why am I fixed?
That was the misconception that I had as, oh, I'll just do 12 or 15, whatever the little thing we were doing was.
The 6 months that the VA gives you.
Right. And what we were doing is,
I'll be cured 6 months. Yay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that should be good.
I'll be fine.
It's not.
No.
But doing that first step, though, I do talk to my wife more than I do the VA now because I have the tools. You know, they gave me the tools to be able to manage it. So I don't. And another thing that really helped was I became more religious. Like that really helps. I don't know about you two. I don't know about you two, but I've become
you found something to put your belief
in. If you've noticed, like I don't swear like I used to. I don't yell.
You are.
I'm a lot more, you know, and that's a lot of the med. That's the med. You can tell when I'm not on my meds. Or when I call you guys on that Marco and I'm going through Madison and yelling, that's because I need to vent.
All right. So you got help.
Yeah, you got help.
Took that step, but I remember you when you first did go and you did it. You were kind of like just making a dark humor joke, and they took it very seriously at the VA. And you're like, well, let's see where this goes.
The toaster bath?
That was the what was it? The suicide joke?
No, it was the toaster bath one.
Yeah, you're like,
wanted to take a bath with your toaster.
That's right.
You got bad news at the VA, and you're like, well, might as well just go take a toaster bath.
I don't remember what.
Take a bath with my toaster.
Yeah,
and they're like, what'd you say? What? And right away, they fucking, you know, basically in their head, they hit the alarm, they locked down the doors, the whole VA hospital locked down because this motherfucker's talking about jumping in the tub of the toaster.
The VA SWAT team shows up.
Yeah. They're taking away your fucking shoelaces and your belt.
I didn't need it.
The VA does tend to overreact, but in good reason, because there has been so many cases of.
Well, that's just it. They've been sued so much for.
You have to take everything serious when you come to mental health.
Yeah, you do. And the thing is that really made people kind of angry at my job was that, like, for an inmate, I'm already going through it. I already know the mental health issues, right? So I can tell when someone's trying to fake it to me.
Right.
You know, because there's key words that they know they have to say. And I didn't even know that the key words were there. And I'm the one I had to go. And I went through therapy. And so yeah, I'd be like, really? Well, how about this? Oh, no. And then we get into it because I'd pretty much call them a liar because they were like, well, how'd you know? Like, because I'm on medication for the exact issue. You can't bullshit a bullshitter.
You got to be a really good bullshitter to bullshitter.
Yeah, Truckee was
A
really.
bullshitter. He was.
I missed that dude.
Yep.
He was one of the few guys I actually missed when I got out.
There are a handful of people I miss seeing on a regular basis.
Yeah, like I miss like Truckee. I miss you
Yep.
guys.
You guys.
I even missed hanging out with McConville.
Well, that's because he was fun.
Yeah, him and I would just put. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, the biggest, if I can stress anything though, is you gotta take that first. You have to be honest with yourself. That's the first step, I think. You have
That's
to be,
the first step.
before you even go to the VA, you gotta be honest with yourself.
Yep.
Like, hey,
I have a problem.
Yeah.
I need help.
Especially when you start, yelling at your loved ones for basic things,
Yep.
Yeah, after my first deployment, one of the guys obviously said everything was good and he had no problems. He filled out all the surveys, lied his ass off, and went home and killed his whole family, wife and kids, and then himself. It does happen, and it's
Well, we had a
because
kid that came
before you
home.
get to that point, you need to say something.
We had a kid that came home, and I was at Fort Lewis. We were on our very first day of PT if we got back, and we were going for a run, and some kid drove his bike 100 and something miles an hour into a concrete HESCO barrier because his girlfriend dumped him.
Yeah. Well, and it's never like something major that sets any of us off. It's always something small.
Well, yeah, it's something small. Like when
small.
I backed in my truck with my side by side, right?
Yeah.
On Sunday, put a huge gash down the side, too big. I was so mad. I'm still mad. And my daughters, they're like, "Oh, Dad, it's not that bad. It's not that bad." And I'm angry. I am furious with myself because I want to yell, but I can't yell at me. You know what I mean?
He's like, "You stupid son of a bitch."
Yeah. So I ended up snapping at my daughter. I felt so bad. I apologized to her later, but then she started crying. I'm like, oh, I felt like, you feel like this big, Yeah, because the outbursts are there. And then when I don't, like if I'm having an outburst in my brain and it doesn't come out of my mouth, then I have an anxiety attack. So it's like, so I'm sitting there going, don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well,
that's why we do tasks and we stay busy. I don't know. Are you constantly doing stuff when you're at home, or do you just sit there twiddle your thumbs? I don't know.
Usually I just sit there and twiddle my thumbs because I hurt too damn much to do much anything else.
Well, even I know, Steve, you work through the pain. You do a task, you work through it. So do I.
I'm just stubborn.
Right.
Let's be completely honest.
The thing is, my pain is primarily like my kidney issues primarily because my legs swell up real big, and then there's stuff I do like we have like gardens and like little things, but I'm not.
You go do stuff. You don't, not necessarily I'm gonna go rebuild the deck or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you stay busy. You stay busy. You know your body.
I don't know
how much you can take.
Yeah, I just a little bit here, a little bit there.
That's fine.
That's something that you have to learn, because I know that's what I had to learn. Is I would always just push myself until I broke myself, and then it's like, all right, now I'm just fucked. And then it's like, all right, now it's just like in the military. It's like you need to take breaks during these conditions. It's the same way now, so you don't hurt yourself more. And because I have 2 herniated discs, they can hurt just like that. I don't know. You guys see my nice pad? Oh fuck! Come on, camera. Yeah, I gotta sit on this motherfucker all the time.
Oh,
because if I don't,
I was looking at your beard.
And that's the thing. If you look in my closet here, there's not a lot of room. So I have a pad. Plus, this pad can go in my truck then. So if I have to do a long drive, boom, I got this pad, which is made for my issues.
But anyway, boys, we need to wrap this up. I have to get ready for work.
Me and Bobby will talk for a few more minutes.
All right. I just want to say one more thing before I leave is another factor that a lot of people don't factor into your mental health is it's not just the crap you've seen. It's the physical pain you're in, especially tinnitus. And that makes you, because imagine, people don't imagine what it's like 24/7 here when you're awake, when you're asleep.
I sleep with earbuds in just to try and stop the noise.
Yeah, I see. I can't because I have my CPAP machine.
Oh,
So
I don't have one of those yet.
yeah,
Give me a little while.
yeah. Well, the Nexus letter that the doctor wrote was amazing. So,
I
but yeah,
get to go. I get to go
I'll let
do the
you
sleep
go.
study here soon.
I'll touch base with you later.
All right,
Okay.
buddy.
All right, I'll catch you later, boys.
Thanks for joining us, bud.
See ya.
Not anytime.
All right, buddy.
Later.
Bye. Okay, so that was our friend Chris. His story is actually pretty fun. Well, it's not fun.
Fun. I mean, in some ways, I mean, it's very much just like ours. It's just he
It's
had just a different route.
it's the same thing that a lot of people go through.
Yeah, same thing.
So that first step is admitting that you have an issue
Well, and it
and then going and getting the help.
well, and for just goes to show, we all went to the VA, and I know the first time I went to the VA was in Milwaukee. I would imagine that's where you went.
Yep,
He
that's
went
where I
to
went.
Madison. Granted, this was many years later. When I went to Madison, it was great. I mean, it was
Well,
way above what
it's
Milwaukee
brand
was.
it's brand new now.
Minus driving down University Drive. That,
Yeah.
I mean, they
Well,
should have picked a better spot for the hospital, but
it was free land then.
I know.
There's a reason I'm thinking about switching down to James Level down at Great Lakes
Yeah.
is because I think it's a better hospital, so I might do that.
Yeah, I haven't been to Milwaukee in a long time, but when I was there, I'm like, I don't like it.
No, it's depressing as fuck. It's every time this is going to sound horrible, and this is not a knock against any of the older veterans that are out there, but every time I walk in there, it's every Vietnam veteran and every remaining 80s veteran, Grenada, all that stuff is in there in a walker or a wheelchair. It's an institution. It's depressing as fuck. It's old and well, you're 30 seconds late because none of the elevators fucking worked.
Right.
And now you've got to wait 6 fucking months to go and do stuff, which is why the vet center is a great resource because I can call the vet center and be like, hey, I just need to talk to somebody. And they will absolutely let me talk to whoever the fuck I want. And it doesn't matter the day, the time, whatever.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. The VA is a great resource, but they put a time limit on everything. Like, mental health is 6 months. We all know that mental health is not a 6-month thing. It's taken years to get to where we are now.
Right. But
And we still
that's
have
the thing
issues.
is, I think that's where like Ricardo kind of fell off was the VA said, oh yeah, we're going to give you this many sessions.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
thought in his head, this is all it's going to take.
That's
And
all
then
it's
I'll
gonna
be
need.
good.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
not the
not.
case.
It is not the case. It is you'll have your first 6 months worth of sessions or whatever, and then you need to go ahead and advocate for yourself because you can't just stop.
Right. Well, I know one of the big things, and I don't know if you went through it, was when you are at that tipping point and you've already blown the top off and you're just like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to do. Like everything just sucks. I hate everything. And you do go into counseling and you're like, I don't like I know I want help, but I'm afraid if I'm too honest, are they gonna lock me up?
But no, I
And
had that.
and
Yeah.
I've had it where they've highly suggested I go check into a clinic. My thought is
I
putting,
can't do that.
no, I can't. I can't do that. Putting myself to where I am 100% vulnerable, that's just not a thing for me. I
Not
don't
not a
feel
thing. No.
secure at all about that.
No.
That's kind of like being on suicide watch. When they take, like, I mean, I had to watch, you've had to watch people
Yeah.
that are on suicide watch. They take your shoelace, they take your belt, and you
They
just
take your
feel
belt. They
like
take
a
the sheets. They take all of that
fucking
stuff. Yeah.
dumbass.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. That doesn't help you
No.
at all. Like, hey, take me to where I can do some shit and
Well,
start working on it. But that's the thing is their thought is if it's that bad, we got to just take you to a center and you're just going to
yeah.
stay there. But then you're kind of you're very vulnerable. And I didn't want to
Yeah.
be completely vulnerable like
So,
that.
like, I know you had this the same way, but like, I had some severe ideation stuff for a while there, and all the guns got locked up, and I handed the wife the key and went, hide this motherfucker. Make sure I can't get at it, because that was how I was going to do it. I knew exactly what I was going to do. It's not the right way to do it. It's not the right way to deal with any of it.
Right.
I know that,
You had a
but
plan.
oh yeah, a couple of times. I've talked to you one time.
Well, exactly. And that's the thing is once you stop the ability for that plan,
Yeah,
your mind starts thinking of another
of
plan.
other plans. Yeah,
And you're
there's
like,
backup plans.
we got backups to
Well,
the backup.
so I think it was you. I was sitting in the garage because I was having those issues, and I hit you up on Marco like, "Hey, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm waiting for a call back from my counselor, but I need somebody." And it doesn't matter who you talk to. It really doesn't. You just, when you hit to that point, call the 899. I think that's what it is. The suicide line. Call a
Okay.
friend.
We got
Call a
it up on
family
the
member.
screen. It'll work.
Call your wife. Call whoever and talk to them. Don't try and do it yourself. Don't try and work through all that by yourself. But I also understand that it takes some time to get to that understanding. This is why I like the vet center,
Right.
because I know I can call the vet center, and the vet center, even the people that answer the phone, will automatically try and help you.
Right. Because
It's not just I'm talking to some random scheduling chick at the VA who has no idea what the hell is going on,
right. Yeah.
and is a government drone and has been doing it for ages.
Well, and usually the way the vet center is set up is you'll call and get the front desk. And that might not be a counselor. It just is a
No,
receptionist. But the difference
but
is if your counselor's not available, there's always a higher their
there's
boss.
another counselor. Yeah.
And their boss's schedule super like lightened to funnel those calls and take those
Yes.
until your
Yes.
counselor's available.
Here's the other thing that I noticed about the vet center, and it's one of the things that I really like about the vet center, is if, say, my call doesn't go through to the vet center in Milwaukee, it goes straight to the national office and somebody answers and they will send me to talk to somebody. But they'll stay on the line with you the entire time,
Yeah.
just talking to you.
Well, and also unless there's like an allergy or something, you can take like if you have a therapy animal, you could take them with you to the vet center. They don't have a problem with that. Take your therapy dog, your cat, your whatever. If you just need to pet something to feel good, I mean that's why so many vets have animals is because there's something about them that makes you more calm. And that's why when on deployment, when you saw animals, it made you feel more like at home
Well,
and more calm and
we all
stuff.
wanted the cats. Everybody wanted to pet the cats. Everybody wanted to play with the cats, even though it was a direct order for none of us to have anything to do with the cats.
Right. Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, some of those cats were mean little bastards.
well, I
I know
mean,
I forget who it was, but somebody got scratched, and they're like, if you get scratched by the cats after we told you not to, it's a fucking article.
no, and that was the reason everybody always was like, oh look, the kitties.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but so folks, this whole thing has been me and Bobby have talked about our journeys on mental health stuff. We wanted to get another person's opinion. That's our friend Chris, and his was long and multiple reasons.
And out of
If
all of
he
us,
can,
he was the last one.
yeah,
So like I did it first, then you, and then him because he
yeah,
was talking to us. And it definitely he started talking to us a lot more after he finally was like, yeah, I got a fucking problem.
yeah, yeah. And okay, honestly, I'm not like a super religious person. I've said that before. But if that helps you, absolutely talk to your priest, your rabbi, whatever you want to do. Talk to whoever you need to talk to, but talk to somebody.
Right. But yes, a lot of people do find comfort in religion
They
because,
do. We all grew up on it somewhat.
right, it's supposed to be
So,
familiar.
well, 1, 2, 3. I'm on my 4th counselor. It's a journey, guys. It
It
is
is.
an absolute journey.
Just
It
because it
is
doesn't
not. You.
work out once, it's just like medication. You gotta try something different and try again.
This is something. This is something that I learned. So it doesn't matter if it's your doctor at the VA or your counselor at the VA or whatever. If you don't like them, you can change them.
Yeah, you can ask for
You
different.
don't have to keep seeing that particular doctor. You can go ahead and get a different one. Advocate for yourself, please. Don't just accept whoever. If you don't like them, ask for a different doctor.
Well, and one of the things that I like that the VA has implemented was if you say, yeah, I'm suicidal, they'll bring somebody in, a counselor in to if you're just there for a doctor's appointment, like, yeah, my back fucking sucks. And you say that, they'll bring somebody to you. So
Oh yeah.
that's one thing I do like that they started doing. And then they do follow-ups, make sure you're
Yes.
actually doing something. And they kind of will tell you the road to take, the route, but yeah, it's really up to you. Do I go just strictly VA or do I do vet center?
The other.
Yeah,
They
you can
want you
do
to pick
different
one or the other.
programs. So I would do the programs, the tools programs through the VA because whatever. Then
They have
it
a
just
lot of
gives
good
you
tools.
options, right? And then you can also have the vet center counselor, which you could just
Talk to.
let it all out, and
Yeah.
they can show you tools too.
The VA is also finally getting more psychological help. So psychiatrists and psychologists, they're hiring more of them, which I think they've needed to do for a long time now. I think that'll help the VA a lot. Whatever program works for you, if it's not any of the stuff that we said, awesome. Go see someone in the civilian side. If you can get in and see civilian
Right.
side, do that.
And that's why I wanted to bring up there are tools out there, online therapy services that are available. Yes, there some you got to pay for, others, can be free. But I
Some of
find
okay,
something that
so
works for you. That's the main thing.
yes, that's the
Find what
big thing.
works for you. If you don't want to go in and actually talk to somebody because of whatever reason, there is the online aspect, and
Yes.
everybody has a smartphone, so anybody can essentially do online therapy. So there's options out there, more options than there were 10 years ago.
Shit, there's more options than there were 5 years ago.
Right. There's so many more options. So if you're having an issue, there's options. But the first step is admitting to yourself you have a problem and asking somebody for help. It could be your wife. It could be,
Shit. It can be
whatever.
whoever.
It could be whoever. It could be your mom, your dad, whatever. But you have to say something. I recommend say something to somebody that actually can point you in the right direction right away.
Yes.
So your doctor, even if you just go to your regular doctor, non-military, non-VA, whatever, your regular doctor,
Yep.
they know people that they can point you in the right direction.
They can help you to start with. They can get you going.
Right. Or you can just go to the emergency room.
Well,
I mean that's like worst case scenario.
Yes.
But you can do that as well. Because they always said, they're like, if you have an issue, go to the nearest emergency room.
Yep.
And the VA, at least for us, the VA will transport you to a VA facility then.
They will.
If worst case scenario, you need help right then and now, go to the nearest hospital and they'll transport you. So it could just be as simple as that. Just, I need help.
And okay, I know we're veteran podcast and all that stuff, but this all applies civilian side too.
Yeah, there is a number you can call on the civilian side. It's 24/7.
It's just, if you need help, talk to somebody, friends, family. We want you to get the help that you need. So
yeah, exactly.
Just remember, it requires work.
100%.
And unless you're going to put in the work, you're not going to see the results.
But it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So yeah, if you put in the work.
Pets make things better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They are a good distraction.
Yeah. So, but all right, Bobby. do you have anything else?
No, I think we should be good. We're gonna have all the numbers, all the contact information, stuff like that, all in this description. So make sure you check that out if you need it. We'll also be having stuff on the screen. So just if you need help, ask for help. And people will not, there's going to be people that judge you, but at this point, it doesn't matter when the top pops off. It doesn't matter. So get help. That's
It's
pretty much what it is.
so I know there was a couple of jokes in this one, and we did laugh. This was more of a serious one, but we appreciate you guys showing up and stopping by.
Yep.
So
Share this
thank
video
you.
with your friends
Huh?
or somebody that you think could benefit from it, because sometimes it's just hearing other people talk about their problems. It can really help them be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that's a mental health thing, or that's something that I do." So please share this video.
A lot of it is when you have a mental health issue, you think you're alone.
100%.
You're not. There are millions of us that have the same issues. Reach out to somebody. So on that note, I think we're good. Well then, thank you guys for joining us on POG Talk.